Okay, hello guys and welcome back to Chris Flies Planes. Chris here of course, and today we are flying the absolutely beautiful Harrier from Razbam's simulations in DCS. So this is the AV-8B VTOL Night Attack Edition, so vertical takeoff. She's an absolute beaut, just a really iconic aircraft, a real pleasure to fly. And today we are going to do a quick startup, taxi and vertical takeoff tutorial. It's not going to be that complex, we're going to simplify it down a little bit. As this is currently still the early access version of this plane, there are a few things about it which haven't been implemented yet. So there's kind of no point working through like the full bit checks, everything, because we just come across a lot of stuff which isn't implemented quite yet. So we're going to do the quick startup, everything you need to know to get her up in the air and flying. So let's jump into the cockpit here. As you can see, there's a lot of switches. It's a very old-fashioned cockpit, but a beautiful one nonetheless. I wrote a little program on in Python, which I've just got running on my laptop here, which is just going to help us out with the starting checklist. So I'm going to get that running. It's a little bit unstable, so it might crash, but if not, we can start up anyway. But let's get that going. You should hear her talking to me.
Battery on.
Okay, so we've got battery on.
Generator on.
There's the generator on.
Fuel cut-off handle on.
Okay, so we're just going to swing all the way around to our left here, and you can see the DCS and the fuel handles. We're going to switch that up and click that down. Okay, next up.
DCS on.
There we go, DCS.
Fuel
we
prop
then have
on.
fuel prop on just down here. We're going to have
Left-hand fuel pump on.
left-hand and right-hand fuel pump.
Right-hand fuel pump on.
Okay.
APU gen
we're just going to
on.
switch for dumps to norm as well. Okay, APU gen on. We'll hear the APU kick up there. That's the auxiliary power unit. It's basically like a small turbine engine just to help get the plane started. Okay, just going to turn master warning off there just as that starts flashing madly. Let's keep on going down the
Radio
list.
on and tuned.
So I'm having a little bit of problem with the radios at the minute. I think perhaps they're not like fully implemented yet, but you can turn them up. Just turn all the volumes on and the brightness on, and this should flick you through frequencies. But I can't seem to get it to work. If you know how to do it, or if it's implemented yet, do give me a shout in the comments.
Internal lights as required.
Internal lights, it's daytime, but I'm going to put them on a little bit anyway because I think it looks pretty badass, frankly. So let's get them on.
External lights as required.
External lights, we're just going to switch those guys on.
Master lights as required.
Master light switch is just up here underneath the seat adjust, so we're going to stick that on to norm.
COM 1 and 2 volume and frequency set.
That is COM 1 and 2. Again, I don't quite know how to get the radios to work right now, but...
MFCD set.
Okay, MFCDs, we're just going to turn both these on to bright here. It's going to give us a screen on. I'm actually going to switch them both onto engine, just because this center little console here does kind of block the sides of the screens, so it's pretty useful to be able to see both sides.
UFC set.
Okay, I'm just going to get the rest of this stuff set, which is you, and you.
HUD set.
Okay, so that's a head-up display on. I'm going to bang it into radar, because I do prefer radar, especially doing vertical takeoff and landing. And that is set to auto, which is absolutely fine.
Parking brake set.
The parking brake is just down here. I've got it mapped. If I just click it, you can see it moving. So it's right here. So when it's back, it is set. You can know that because it won't let you move your throttle past that idle cutoff point there. Let's just get that back in and locked.
Test and warning lights test.
Okay, we can do that if we just pop down to this instrument light panel here. Switch that down. It's kind of hard to do it and see it at the same time. If I zoom right out, you should be able to see here. So we're just going to pop that down and you'll see everything light up, which is fantastic. It's what we want.
Canopy closed.
Okay, I don't seem to be able to get this canopy to close by clicking within the cockpit. Again, I'm not sure if that's working or what, but if you just hit Control-C on your keyboard, or if you, of course, if you want to map it to your joystick, that will close and lock. Okay, so next up we're going to have engine starter. My checklist program seems to be going a little bit slow. I did write it yesterday, so it needs a little bit of work. But anyway, we're going to put the engine starter to start here. You're going to hear everything starting to kick up. And you can see on the screen where it says comp RPM and fan RPM. When they hit around 10%, you're just going to nudge that throttle forwards. And there we go. You can hear everything kicking off now. Which is fantastic. Okay. So those guys are good to go. If we just move the stick out of the way here, we can turn the FLIR on. We can turn the INS to nav. It's currently not programmed to align. It's automatically aligned and set, but you can turn it to nav. Set DP prime to auto. DMT can go on. MC overload is already set to auto, which is fantastic. All the circuit breakers are fine and in. I don't think they can go wrong anyway, but of course it is always good to check. Then we can swing around here. We want to turn our flaps power on here. Flaps can be set to STOL, short takeoff and landing, because we're going to be doing a vertical takeoff. Second part of this video. We can set the anti-skid to on. This basically controls the nose wheel steering. The RPS yaw can be on. All the SASs down here, roll, pitch and yaw can go on. Q-field can go on, and AFC can go on. JPTL is on, which is absolutely fine. And I reckon we are looking pretty fantastic right now. Just going to quickly nudge my head around, check how many... Oh, yeah, I'm going to arm the ejection seat here, just by clicking that one down. And, yeah, I reckon we're looking pretty fantastic here. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty happy about this. I'll turn the RWR on. I'm just going to switch this one to the RWR menu. It's got an IFF menu, which doesn't seem to work. You'll find a lot of things, guys, in this plane don't work yet. It is early access. It's only just been released, and they are adding stuff all the time, which is great. Okay, so we are good now. Right, if you look on the screen now, or you look down here just to the right hand side of the throttle, this is our nozzle adjustments. I have this mapped to a controller on my joystick, but for the sake of taxiing, I find it's best to stick this at around 65%, 65 degree nozzle, sorry. You can also see it just to the right of the cockpit here. This is just to give you quite a nice feel on the throttle when you're taxiing. It makes it less sensitive, obviously, because a lot of the thrust is aimed up rather than forwards. We can turn our parking brake off. And let's get her taxiing out to the runway. And we'll see if we can do a nice demonstration of a vertical takeoff for you guys and just kind of explain what needs to be done there. So you can see I'm at about 40-50% throttle right now, and it's about right for taxiing. If you're having struggle taxiing, you should really have the nose wheel button mapped on your keyboard, on your joystick, sorry. Or I'll show you in a moment here what we can do. Let's just get her rolled out though and lined up. Not that hopefully it should matter if this takeoff goes as intended. Come on. Come on. Okay, so if you do not have a nose wheel steering button set, you can just put this anti-skid switch here up, I believe maybe all the way down, and it will give you full nose wheel steering. I'm going to leave it in on for now, which should set us up nicely. Okay, so for takeoff, key things to remember are flaps should be set to STOL, which they are. We're going to turn our H2O on. This is just going to give us a little bit more RPM. You'll hear it when I switch it. There we go. That pumps that up. And that's it, pretty much. What we are going to do, so the goal here when we are taking off vertically is basically to keep this little witch's hat carrot here between these two pitch carrots. That is the basic goal. So what we're going to do is hold our left and right wheel brakes. I'm just going to check those are working, which they are. And we are going to slowly push the throttle forwards. And we're going to slowly push the throttle back and make sure our nozzles are set. So I find that around an 85 degree nozzle angle is about right. I I think maybe even 80. So again, we're going to hold both our wheel brakes here and throttle up. That feels better. And as we start lifting, it's going to take a lot of joystick input. Okay. It's going to take a lot of joystick input to kind of stop you from drifting. It's very difficult. It takes a lot of practicing to get the hang of it. The basic goal is try and keep her as steady as possible and keep her going up. Once you're nice and stable, you can get your gear up, and we are going to slowly start turning the nozzle forwards. Slowly, slowly, so you can see if we do it too hard, the plane will start to lose stabilization. Keeping that witch's hat between those two pitch carrots, slowly moving our nozzle down, slowly moving our nozzle down. Okay, we're at 0 degrees now, and if we look down, we're just going to set the flaps back to auto and hold her nice and steady, and now we can switch the plane over into nav mode. And we are good. Let's have a look outside, make sure we are correctly configured. We are looking pretty good on that point. Let's just take her down here for a little bit of fun. Radar altimeter, so we can see just from the top right, 200 feet, 150 feet, 140, 130. Put it down a little bit lower here, guys. Absolutely beautiful. Okay. So guys, as I said, this was our quick startup tutorial and vertical takeoff. We're going to do some more videos with the Harrier. We're going to do a lot more videos with the Harrier as the development continues. I also want to show you guys the carrier landings and taking offs, everything. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, it really helps me if you hit the like button, and it costs you absolutely nothing. Thank you so much, guys, and I'll see you next time. Fly safe.